Welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. Today is yet another special review day. Today I'm reviewing the Diageo Rare Malts Collection Caol Ila 21-year-old 61.3%. This particular whiskey is quite well known out there. It's fabled to be an excellent whiskey, and I'll take you through the flavors of it today. Look, I'm a big fan of Caol Ila. Caol Ila is an awesome whiskey distillery. I'm a huge fan of Caol Ila because it's accessible and it ranges from entry level all the way out to ridiculous like this. But I've had the 12 distillery bottling. I've had almost every new distillery bottling that comes, every new independent bottles that comes out in the last 4 years, and I've also had the 25-year-old distillery bottling recently as well, and that was excellent, by the way. But I want to take you through the Rare Malts Collection. The Rare Malts Collection is, in my opinion, not just hype. It is a time travel machine. You open up a bottle of this and it just transports you direct to the 70s distilling era, when this was distilled and bottled in the 90s. This was bottled in 1999. Party like 99, baby. So this was bottled in October 1999, just before the crack of the millennium. So this has been bottled for 21 years now. 21 years approximately. So that's just insane to think that this was in the barrel for 2 decades, and then this was in the bottle for another 2 decades. So 40 years from distilling date, we are drinking it today. So look, suffice to say, I'm excited. Caol Ila is a quintessential Isle distillery. It's been around for a long time. When was it established? 1846. Holy moly, 1846. Caol Ila also closed for a little bit in its time, and then they realized actually we really need Caol Ila because it's awesome. But anyway, Caol Ila is also known as a gentleman's Isla. Why? It doesn't kick you in the scrotum and balls like an ardbeg. It doesn't peel your face like a young Kilhoman. It is a gentleman's Isla because it is a little bit more refined and toned down. And I always say it's like a Pierce Brosnan James Bond versus a Daniel Craig James Bond. You know what I mean? So Caol Ila is the Pierce Brosnan. It's a little softer, a little bit more chill. Anyway, let's get nosing. Straight away I'm getting peat on the nose, but not too heavy. It's almost like imagine if peat was like this and then it's wrapped in caramel, so it's like a caramel peat. And I'm getting that weird sootiness that I get from old-fashioned distilled whiskey. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting that sootiness, not just peat. I'm getting sootiness, smokiness, and I'm getting peat. I'm getting an old rubber. Like, you know, when a tire's been in the sun for a while and starting to perish and it gets wet and then it dries in the sun again, and you're getting the smell of that old rubber. That's probably because the peat has slightly denatured in the barrel for 21 years, but it's still very much there. It's still very much there, the rubber. I'm getting a distinct salinity. Very distinct salinity. I'm getting a sharp, sickly floral note mixed with vanilla, a little bit of a coconut caramel, like, you know, when you get that Nestle coconut condensed milk. It's kind of that Nestle coconut condensed milk, but the vanilla is strong, the peat's strong, the smoke is a little bit subdued. I'm getting a rusty taste to it as well, like an irony rusty taste. And I'm getting, of course, the oak influence, which is quite surprisingly heavy. A heavy oak influence. But not tannin. I'm not getting that earthy tanniness. I'm getting that oak. So I don't know why that is, but maybe in the hogshead they use, I don't know what they use, I don't even look anymore, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the barrel they used, there was a little bit of younger oak. And I'm getting a powdery smell like a baby talc. Now when I nose it more, this is what's interesting about it. I'm getting a muddy, soily, a muddy, soily note, like a distinctly, like a wet, like just a mud note. Very interesting. Mud note with a slight herbaceousness, like a mixed herb salad, a slight green, but that mud, I'm getting that dirty mud. Not a fungal, not a funk, but mud. And I know this sounds weird, but calling out all the fish keepers out there, it's when you empty a tank of the gravel. You know, when you drain the tank and you've got that gravel in the bottom and that muddy gravel smell. How interesting is that? My wife is just looking at me going, nerd! Very true. I'm proud to be a nerd, thank you. Oh, the nose is so unique. I've never smelt a Caol Ila like this ever in my life. I've never had a Caol Ila that's this strange and warped and out there, but yet still very much Caol Ila. The backbone is there, but the body is like this Frankenstein. It is crazy. And like I said, you open up a bottle of rare malts. You open up a bottle of rare malt and it's time travel immediately to that time. And don't forget to look up there. I've got other rare malts. Let's get sipping. That is delicious. Wow. That's like opening the gate to a rodeo and you're in the back of that bull and you're just like holding on for dear life. You're like, nah! Am I gonna make it? Not sure. But that is, oh, that's fucking delicious. It is just an overwhelming sensation of flavors. I actually don't even know what I'm tasting except for peat and rubber. So I'm just gonna let my palate acclimatize for a few seconds, and I'm gonna sip again. Okay, let's try it again. That is an overwhelming sensation of flavors. It's like, you know, someone's grabbing your tongue. It's like, you know, like grabbing it, just holding on to it. Wow. Wow. Liquid rubber, old leather, peat. The peat is actually stronger on the palate than the smell, which is quite crazy. On the palate, the peat is quite prominent. Delicious, but prominent. And then the peat rules everything on your palate. So it starts to trickle flavor, which is quite strange. The peat just rules the kingdom, and then it just trickles a bit of flavor. I'm getting herbaceousness. I'm getting a savoriness. I'm getting bacon, like just a hint of bacon. I'm getting cured meats, like a salami, black pepper, salt, a lot of salt. And the whiskey is so oily. It's so oily. It just coats my mouth. It's fantastic. And you know what? The ABV is actually very deceptive. You're not getting that 61.3 burn at all. It's actually very deceptive. It's delicious. Oh, wow. That is an excellent dram. And I'm still getting the finish. The finish is just everlasting. And I'm getting that mud. And I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm getting that mud, that filthy mud coming through. That earthiness, but wet earthiness. Damp leaves in the forest. Not fungal, but just earth. It's very saline, not very iodine like a normal Isla, like an Ardbeg. So that's where the restraint comes from. But that is just a complete delight to the palate. Oh, wow. What a treat. It's nothing like a Caol Ila I've ever had. It is strange. Like I said, the backbone is Caol Ila, but everything around it is like this monstrosity that just makes it Isla. Just, yeah. It is completely unhindered by any norms whatsoever, and that's what I love about the rare malts, is the norms we know now is so skillfully blended to appeal to the palates, in most cases sensitive Asian palates of whiskey, and because that's where the biggest markets are. And it's a shame, because they should really let the whiskey run rampant, you know. They should let it just, you know, let it go to a football game, take its fucking pants off and run around doing the windmill. That's what they should let it do, but they don't. They don't. It's a PC world, right? I mean, everyone wants to see a windmill in a soccer game, or sorry, football game. And if you're in America, football game. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm glad you could join me tasting this beauty. Cigar pairings, well, you can do whatever you want with this. This will knock any cigar out. In fact, the cigar will probably soothe your palate. This is a real beast punch in the mouth. Cheers.